Hello YouTube, welcome to RV Daydream. We're looking at one of the biggest, best that is to be had out there in the electric bike market. There's a few companies that just stand above and beyond all the rest. And I'm gonna say there's probably maybe 4 or 5 of them in the marketplace. And this is one of them.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
So if you guys recall going back a few videos, which covers a couple of years at this point, or almost 2 years, we had VELOTRIC send us a couple of different e-bikes when we were down in Vero Beach. They sent us the Nomad one and the Discover one. Both of those bikes were highly, highly praised by Heidi and I because of just the quality, the build, the looks, and still to this day, it's one of the few bikes that we've had that when we had them parked outside of our RV on our pad, that people just seem to migrate over and say, man, these things look really nice. Now, I think one of the reasons is they look so refined, and most of the people that were in the park at that time were French Canadians, and they have a different level of acceptance whenever it comes to different things. And as far as like electric bikes, they like the more refined bikes, not the gaudy ones that are just overkill for everything. Racks, you know, 2 headlights, batteries that are external that can be seen easily. They like the ones that are more refined, the ones that look like they've been engineered, all the components at once. And that's what VELOTRIC is. VELOTRIC has always been that manufacturer. This is now a couple years later, or going on a couple years later. This is the update to their Discover 1. This is their Discover 2, as you might expect. Instead of saying 1.0 or 2.0, they just say 1 and now 2. If you can imagine my surprise that they've already upgraded that last one, but it's because the marketplace has become so competitive that they saw that they could increase even above and beyond what they had before into this bike. So I'm going to go ahead and do an unboxing here. I'll talk about some of the unboxing parts. I'll assemble the bike. I'm not going to show you a step-by-step. That's not what this video is. Of course, one of the things that I look at is during the unboxing is the packaging and how well it's put together. That's how good the bike is, just even if they're wanting their packaging to be superior so their product gets delivered in the condition that it's manufactured at. You know, these shipping companies, they beat these boxes up pretty good. So again, this arrived via FedEx, and one of the things you got to be concerned with is how big this box is. I am 6 foot tall, and this is all of 30 inches in height, and then length, it's got to be close to 4 foot. But more importantly is the weight on this thing. We are at 95 pounds for this entire package. So don't think this is something you're just going to have FedEx deliver on your front porch and you're going to be able to easily carry it out to your garage if your garage is detached. We'll go ahead and look down in here at the packaging. Wow, looks very good as always. Please recycle your foam. Just don't toss it away. There's plenty of places that you can recycle stuff. Just find one that'll do your foam for you. I want you guys to see what I see. It's pretty standard as far as the packaging, but what I like about it is it's so minimal. They only include the packaging that's necessary to keep it safe. This is kind of a standard practice. The wire tie for the front tire, and then the handlebars separate. I love the gooseneck already, and I do like the color. Our general rule is whenever we get these bikes for review, we always ask for the brightest or lightest color. This is a mint color, and the reason is, for us at least, obvious, and it's twofold. One, first of all, for the reviews, it comes out on camera a little bit better. You can see a lot of the attributes of the design if the frame is light colored. but more importantly, for us, it's to be seen when we're riding down the road. All these bikes that are black, you know, people don't necessarily see those. All right, let's go ahead and finish this out and get this out of the box. Fair warning, if you are to cut the box open, look down inside the box. Make sure you're not cutting into brake cables, brake hoses, brake lines, shifter cables, tires, seats, stuff like that. And speaking of repairs, that's one of the positives with VELOTRIC. This is a company that has partnered up with like 500 online and physical stores for any kind of repair work or after sales work that's necessary. I love the fact that they are looking out for the customers and what they may experience with their product and giving them a place to go. It's not always the case. Now, as you see on the outside of the box, there was two things that I want to point out, which we'll talk about potentially a little bit later too, but UL certified, that's Underwriters Laboratory. That means that they have submitted their batteries to be certified safe under certain conditions. You know, there are testings that have to be done by UL that the battery has to pass, and they want to make sure that you know it's safe. So it is UL certified. There's a safety standard for the US that it also follows, and works with Apple Find My. Now, I don't have any Apple products, but what that'll do is allow you to connect and actually find your bike. So now you get an overall sense of the way it comes, the way it's shipped. There is a box in there that we need to retrieve, and that's going to be for the charger and all the components and the tools that are necessary. You can see the packaging that needs to be removed, including all of the wire ties that are holding the components to the bike from moving around. But overall packaging, top notch as always, and it's because they're trying to protect their baby. Now, the thing I like about VELOTRIC that they've done in the past also, the luggage rack is already mounted. This seat is already in its position. The gooseneck is already on the forks. Makes it so much easier when you're putting these things together. So we're gonna retrieve this box from the backside here, but you can see how we laid this box open, and this gives us a work area. So if we're in a grassy situation or sandy or muddy, you do have an area that's now clean and easier to work with. Keep all the components clean as you assemble it. But let's look inside this box. Let's build your sweet ride. I'm sure it's going to be a sweet ride too. As always, just first class. I mean, everything, usually I have a box that all the tools are just thrown in, you know, the charger and it's just all thrown in there, but you could see they're trying to step it up, which they did. There's a QR code here that'll help you with your assembly instructions. That's really why I'm not doing much for assembly here, but I do want to show you, just like I said, all this stuff should just reek of being quality. All right, so we'll go in the order here. Your manual and tools, you have a nice little manual here, again, for assembly reasons. And then the tools, which this is nice. This is really nice, depending on where you are in the country or in the world, you can show what this is set up for. Now the tool pouch, it's not just some kind of crappy vinyl pouch. Yeah, it's some sort of a textured fabric. And then you have your tools, which are chrome vanadium. It's indicated there. And in the owner's manual, it's going to show you how to change some of the settings on your unit, so that you might be able to, again, change the settings for speed or power. The second one is the pedals. Left and right, they're indicated for obvious reasons. There is a difference there. Now the accessories. This is going to be a lot of the hardcore components, such as your display, your light, and then the attaching hardware that's necessary for those things. Reflectors, you have your bell, and looks like some wire management, probably for the couple of wires that are involved here. You have some wire management set up there. And then finally the charger. This is always something that I like to look at. Oh, nice, it has a mount, so you can mount it on the wall. That's awful nice. Have a little charging dock. And this is a 3-amp charger. Again, kudos to them putting together a bigger charger than what most would do. That gets you back on the road riding a lot faster. Here we are, it's all finished. The things that I want to talk about that just jump out at me right away, and I may go over some redundant information. The LED light on the back, one of the brightest that I've seen. This isn't going to come out on camera very well. So that's the normal LED. There's the brake light, and the turn signals actually aren't too bad. They actually do a pretty good job. I'm tell you the truth, I'm surprised. The seat is very comfortable. It does have some sort of poly in here to make it like a shock absorber. The brakes are huge. The brakes, the fact that you have hydraulic brakes, they are Tektro, and they're like 180 millimeter. They really want to stop you. Again, the fact that it's hydraulic helps out with that quick response. The tires are a good size. You're not talking about a big monster tire. You're not talking about a little skinny tire. It's enough that you could adjust the pressure for ride comfort. Just make sure you follow manufacturer's preference. The extruded aluminum that's in between here is a nice touch for hooks, bungee cords, whatever. Other than that, this is a standard tubular design here, but 66 pounds on this rack, that's a considerable amount. But again, I kind of like the way these look here, to be able to put a bungee cord hook in. Like I mentioned before, they have a hologram UL certification on here. It even has a certificate number. Again, the battery. The battery does require a key to remove. However, it doesn't require the key to put back in. The handlebars are swept back in a really nice design. They're very comfortable, just the tactile feel. And I'll have to say that the layout of this overall is pretty good. You have your throttle here, just you hit it and go. You're up and down for the power assist. These are long presses for the headlight, or for a walk mode is a long press. And they have little indicators on there. I don't know if you're going to see that on camera, but it's molded in. Of course, this is the menu. It tells you how to go into the menu with a one of the pieces of paper that comes with it. Lets you know how to adjust the speed limit and set the setting up as far as if it's got boost or not to go a little bit quicker. And then on this side, you got your bell and of course your finger shifter. On the front here is the headlight is actually mounted up high in this case, a little bit different. I've seen actually people mounting them down low. I don't know if that's an early release thing or what, but I prefer the up high mount, to tell you the truth. And then you have your front suspension that you can lock out if you're in a situation where it's mainly speed and you don't want a lot of rebound and bouncing around. You can lock that out. I have yet to find a reason personally to do that. Again, they gave you some extra wire management stuff to help you out with what that whole configuration of plugging it all in entailed. But it's a great looking bike, don't you guys think? I mean, it's very nice looking. So as far as the bike itself, the way it rides, let me go ahead and take it out, do a little test, see what Heidi thinks about it also, and we'll come back and give you thoughts on this. But yeah, I want to go run this around the block, I think.
As we watch me take this thing for a ride, I want you to realize the differences between what the Discover One was compared to this one here. They went with a torque sensor. They have a 750 watt motor now instead of 500. They have more torque. It's an IPX7 battery. You could put the battery in a washing machine. They actually show that demonstration on one of their videos. It's got more range. It's got more speed. It's got more adjustments. It has more gears. It has different classes. It's got a better display. It has cruise control, and it has an app. And they only added $100 to the introductory price compared to that Discover One, which is incredible. For just a year they did all that. This thing's powerful. It'll pull up to 880 pounds, which is crazy. As far as range, everybody asks about that. It depends on rider size, how much you pedal, the wind, the terrain. But the differences between just certain settings also could get you quite a bit of range. For example, level 2, they're advertising 54 miles on throttle only. and 67 miles when pedaling. That's a really good range. However, if you put it up on level 5, you're going to drop that down to 38 miles on throttle only, and pedaling 42 miles. I'm pretty careful. I don't like going much over 15 miles throttle only because of how big I am. Now, speaking of that, Heidi, she's going to be hopping on the bike here. She's only 5'4", and yet this bike is still good size for her because it'll go down to riders that's 4'11". Not only that, but the step through is really low. It's only 15 inches. It does have a torque sensor, as I mentioned before, something that's an increase between the cadence sensor. It really senses what you're doing with your pedals to give you some speed. And again, I want to keep on going back to that UL certification. That's US standards, not Euro standards. And it's also 4210 ISO certified, which basically means it can handle 440 pounds. Again, the whole idea that the battery is IPX7, the bike is IPX6, and it's a powerful bike, it's something to be said, and it is a great price point.
All right, now that you took it for a ride.
Well, I'm not sure the max weight on this or the max height, but it's perfect for me. I'm 5'4".
Yeah. Did you see that rear rack can hold 66 pounds?
Yeah, nice. Very comfortable ride. I think the handlebars are a little wider than most bikes, which I kind of like, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Turn signals.
the quality of the bike is always, it's like automotive quality.
Yes.
The welds, all that stuff. But again, you could see the paint and how it comes across on the camera. Well, just imagine that to be even better in real life. The other thing I wanted to talk about is it has this Novatec front axle. It is a huge through bolt on there. That is a sturdy front axle. I think that you could, I see why it's 330 pounds. I mean, it could definitely handle it. But
It's a real comfortable ride, and it does. I got it up to 30 also.
yeah, I was
Easy.
easy.
Yeah, easy. Not a struggle.
There's a delay, something that I like personally. When you hit the throttle, there's a delay. It's kind of, it just gradually brings it on.
Especially when you pedal too, also.
Right.
It doesn't take off.
Right. Even if you freewheeled it right now, it has, it's kind of odd. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We'll turn this on. And then we will set the power rating. You see it's on boost. Let's go ahead and just turn it all the way up to 5. I'm going to lift the back end, and Heidi's going to push the throttle full speed. Now watch how slow it is to take off. All right, so see that? That's it's like a safety feature that makes it to where you don't get thrown off the bike. And I was kind of surprised by it, tell you the truth. So if you guys are wanting this herky-jerky thing going on, you know, of instant power, trying to do a burnout, that's not what this is made for. This is, like I said, more refined than that. But let me go over some of the specs on this. We're going to talk about it.
It's not so much that I'm going to go over the specs. I want to talk about something that I just kind of breezed over earlier, and that's the UL testing and the ISO standard. They go 72 hours at minus 40 degrees Celsius. They do 72 hours at Sahara Desert temperature. I mean, that's crazy. And then they have 18 kilograms of dust being blasted on this thing for 8 hours. That is some serious torture that they do on the battery. Now, as far as the bike itself, it did 150% of the 4210 ISO standard, meaning that they put 440 pound load on this. They ran it on a dyno up to 32 kilometers an hour, and as far as the impacts to the suspension or the bike overall, 300,000 times they put impacts to it, which the range is that they did all that torture to it, basically. It's equivalent to 500 miles. It's tested, guys. This is probably one of the most tested certified bikes that we've ever tested before or reviewed in this case. So the links are going to be down in the description. please go down in the description, click the link, go take a look at it, decide if that's what you want. But this is one of the best we've ever tested.